once again, welcome back to Plot. Well, good afternoon everybody, once again, welcome back to Plot. It's a bit breezy up here. All weekend I've tried to make this video, but the wind's been so strong and I know it just interferes so much with the audio. So I've come up Monday, the sun's shining, but that wind's still a bit pesky. But anyway, I'm going to give it a try for this afternoon. I've got seeds to sow. I want to have a look at my brassicas. I want to try some new ideas for next year, so I've got quite a bit to get on with, so we'll crack on. First thing I want to do, the last video Julian Callahan posted online about the nettle juice that he uses. Just one of my ideas I've used for years, apart from comfrey, nettles. You know, it's all free, it's all organic, and this is our stinky barrel. And what we like to do here, we like to put the comfrey and we like to put the nettles in here. Any tomato cuttings that we take off, any suckers, any side shoots, all goes in here. Believe you me, get that off there. That's just the roots dying back. It absolutely honks. But believe you me, it's a first class feed. I like to use just a bucket and a sieve on top, and as you see, it's more like a soup. Pour that in there. I like to have 2 or 3 of these to a 5-gallon watering can. Just put the 3 in there for now. I'll 4 of them. You get little bits of straw and little bits of root coming up, but it goes into your strainer and you go straight back in there. Let's get this lid back on. As I say, it absolutely honks. There's my juice. That's my juice in there. I'll fill a watering can, top it up, give it a good stir around, and you've got a first class feed. Right, okay, enough for now. We'll turn around and we'll get into the greenhouse. Right, so there we have it. First class toms again. If you watch on my Facebook page, I posted the other night, I think it was Sunday night, Saturday night. Come down, of course, with the sunshine we had, I managed to pick off the first 3 or 4 tomatoes off the Shirley crop. Absolutely marvellous. Had them for tea. Nice cucumber to go with my chicken. Absolutely, you can't beat it. First class crops. Right, so there we are. I've filled the watering can half full and I've topped it up the rest of the way with the juice. As I say, it's more like a pea soup. It absolutely stinks, but I keep the doors open all the time in the glass greenhouses. So give them a really good drink of this once a week, as well as our ordinary feed. Cucumbers, peppers, I've got everything in here, and they all benefit from the same juice. Of course, keep the doors open, keeps the smell down. You don't get too much of a whiff in it. It's got to say it stinks. And of course, I always like, we're old friends, the marigolds. Don't forget to use wet tomatoes. Absolutely marvellous for keeping it nice and clean. As I say, I've got a first class crop on there. What I will be doing next week, I'll be going around the same as what I did down home. And I'll be nipping any immature fruits off. Get a nice big truss on there. Any immature ones, just cut them off with the scissors, and it gives the rest of them first class chance to pick up. I've also got the marigolds over here because we've got our peppers all down here. They're growing away really well. Don't know if I can get the video in there, but we'll have a try. As I say, I've got a couple of cucumbers at that end, and then we've got the peppers going away really well there. And what we'll be doing with these, we'll be pinching these up, but we'll leave this for another video on how I like to grow our peppers. For the time being, all they're getting is once a week they get a good drink of Epsom salts, and once they start flowering we'll put a bit in the spray and we'll spray them every other day with Epsom salts, and it helps set the fruit fantastic, and of course it makes the crop much better. But we'll go through all that in a later video. Okay, so when I get on to these brassicas, for the time being we'll get you sorted out. Okay. Right, well, as I say, that's the top greenhouses sorted out. I'll go right through them, give them all a good feed this afternoon, and they're ready for another week. As I say, I can go through, once I get a good drink of juice, I can go through once a week or twice, once every fortnight, and give them a good dose of Epsom salts, and it just keeps them perked up and growing away nice and strong. Should get a first class crop out of them. Brassicas over the back here, I've already started cropping the broccoli. Absolutely first class. I had some Sunday for dinner, it was beautiful. First one's off. Sprouts at the back, broccoli in the middle, summer cabbage, and right at the front here we've got our winter cabbage. We've got a row of winter cabbage, and we've got a row down there just over the far end where the potatoes are. Of course, the potatoes, I've tried a different one this year. I normally have the red Duke of York, but this year I put in Sapo Myra, and not disappointing by a long shot. They're nearly as tall as me, so I'm hoping what's underneath is going to be just as well. But we'll have a look at them, we'll dig them up in late autumn, early September. We haven't even finished with early potatoes yet, so we've had some cracking crops. We had the Duke of York, we had Swift, and we had the Rocket, and they've all done really well this year. Fantastic, we've got some great crops. The only ones we've got left in the buckets is the Swift. So we'll maybe tip them out in a couple of weeks' time, and we'll show you what sort of crop we're getting out of them. But as far as the polytunnel is concerned, they've been absolutely marvellous. But this was a little secret. I told you about the beginning of the year. I was trying these out. Now a few of the lads commented online, and says that you've got to watch for the outside liner, with it being heat resistant. It could be waterproof, but I've had no problems whatsoever. I've been getting these, I've been getting these from my daughter. Emma, she's been saving them from her work, so Emma, build them up again. I'll need them in 3 to 4 weeks' time. And of course, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to sow our winter broccoli, early spring broccoli, petal flowering, and of course our winter cauliflowers. So I'm going to get them in today. So I'll show you how I sow mine, and then in 3 to 4 weeks' time, it'll be ready for pricking off. And what I'll do, I'll prick them off again into these pots, and then it can sit in these pots for at least 4 weeks. They're nice and deep, they're pretty wide, and by the time these are full of root, will be well into August, back end August, just perfect for planting out. What I'm going to attempt again next year, I mentioned it, I think in the video before, a lot of people having problems with onions, with the disease that's been spreading up from the south. So what I'm going to do next year, I'm going to set away some Kelsey onions. I used to grow Kelsey years ago, some of the nice big show ones. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grow some Kelsey the way I normally grow. I've got a little tent now, just a small one. I have to put a small light in and a little mat heater. And that'll be just enough to put a couple of trays of onions in. Now, them onions will sit in the trays, single cell trays for about 6 weeks. But by then you're going to be into March, middle of March, where it's getting full light in the greenhouse back home, and it'll be a little bit warmer, so I can just put the single heat wire that I've got running through the heat bed on, and that's the only thing I'll be using. So there'll be very little power, but it'll be just enough heat to keep them onions frost free. And then what I intend to do is to plant them in these, and then leave these proud of the ground, so they're not touching the ground. The onions are in there growing very strongly, but the roots are still sitting there. But I'll explain all that next year. I might try some Jap onions. I don't have much problem with mine. I noticed one of the beds down the bottom I had a little bit of white rot. So what I might do is I might start off a few Jap onions early. As I say, under the greenhouse in there, it's not so bad because I've only got a bit of net over the top there now. So I might start a few Jap onions off and just see how they come about. But it's always worth a try. It's something different. And as I say, if you're plagued with pests and diseases, well, this is going to be the way forward in future. But we'll get in and we'll get some seeds sown. Okay, we're out with the sunshine. It's red hot out here. This is temperature. The wind's dropping, but every now and again you get a really strong gust. But we're going to go into top of the 100-foot greenhouse here, which hopefully will be taken down this year if we get round to it in the autumn, and I'm going to do a little bit of sowing in there. Okay, so that's okay. Right, well, the sun's went in. I'm going to shut that door. Hopefully it's going to keep that there. As I say, the top of the greenhouse here, a couple of years ago, was covered in the polythene. It's got the reinforced lining right through it. Unfortunately, over the last year and a half, all the plastics dropped out of it, so all we're left with now is a net up on the top of the roof here. But it's doing its job just for now, and it's going to be perfect for me sowing the winter collies and the spring flowering bulbs that I want to put in. Put these button and squash in 3 weeks ago, and potting them off into here last week because we've been emptying some of the boxes that we've had onions and that in, and now these are going to be ready for planting out. Perfect little plants. But they're just sitting in here, wind's coming through, they've got a bit of shelter on their side, and that's all we want. When you're planting your autumn flowers and your winter flower and broccoli and that, what you can do is you can plant them outside in a seed bed, but you're more open to prone for attacks from the sky, from birds, slugs, worms, anything that'll eat them, rats, mice. So I always like to sow my inside, but at the same time keep them really on the cool side. You don't want any heat whatsoever. If you've got a greenhouse, if you're sowing them in the greenhouse, make sure they're near the door or near a vent where you can get plenty of fresh air. I don't want any heat at all whatsoever. This time of year they'll come away fine. On my first tips, I use a nice deep tray. Always have done for my brassicas. There's the smaller seed trays there, and there's a good inch difference in the depth of them. Reason being, for cabbage, collie, all the brassica family, they're really hungry growers. So I like to let the roots go down as far as possible to get a nice, strong, really strong plant on the top, ready for potting off, and you shouldn't have any problems whatsoever growing them on. And as I say, in the cups, once they come out of here, they'll go into these cups, and they're going to sit in them cups for about at least 4 to 5 weeks. So if I've got 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks in here and 4 weeks in there, we're into 2 months. So July, I'll take it at the end of August, which is spot on for me planting out. Still nice and warm then, and the plants will get a really good hold into the soil before the winter sets in. You get a nice strong plant growing, and hopefully we'll get a first class plant for next spring. So as I say, I've filled 3 of these up, and this is what me broccoli and me cauliflower is going to go into. I've already put the notice in, put the marker in. Now this is multi-purpose. It's not my mix, it's just multi-purpose, but an extra portion of sharp sand. I always do that. Doesn't matter what multi-purpose. I've used clover for years, professional clover, and it's a really good compost. But I always have my handful. When I make me mix up, I always make me mix up the day before, and I've done this yesterday. Emptied my compost out into my bin, and then I put a half a bucket of sharp sand to go with it, and it's really fine. Reason being, they're in a deep container. Now these will sit in a small tray like this. There we are, there's my small tray. These will sit in there, and I can just water from the bottom. They'll get no water on the top. These are pre-soaked. I'll really give them a good soaking now before I even put any seed on. And then the 3 of them will sit in there, and then I can just water the bottom of that tray. I never water from above, always water from down below. And with that extra sand in the compost, it just acts like a sponge, and it'll just take up the water all at once. So I never have to water over the top. That prevents any dampening off or anything else, especially if you're using water out your butts. That's another thing. I always emphasise, trying, if you can, use fresh water from the tap. But once they're grown away, it's not so bad. I can put water out the butts, and I can tip it into here, into the tray. They'll soak it up, but they're not affecting the top of the leaves. And that's the secret. If you've got a wet, soggy compost on the top, you're just inviting diseases, especially dampening off. But if you're watering from the bottom, they're taking the water up what they need, and the top should be fine. Just one last thing. You know me and my little fiddly bits and bobs. Chamomile tea. I'll give it a good soak with water, and then I give it a good soak of chamomile tea. Once the seeds sow, I'll give it another spray before I cover it up. So I'll just put this in here for the time being. I've got them marked, so I know exactly what they are. I'll just get my cloth, wipe my hand, because I like to have dry hands when I'm putting them. So there we go. And I've got to watch in here because it is really windy, but I prefer to plenty of fresh air in here. So I've just got to keep an eye on the seed in case it starts blowing around. So what I've got my cauliflower winter 3. This is Amado for the April. Look on the back of your seed, which I normally do. It should give you an idea of how many seed or a seed count there is in there. There's 90 seed in there, so it's not too bad for one of them. Actually, I can split this into 2 if I want. But just very carefully, all I'm going to do is I'm going to knock out 2 dozen seed for the first one. I don't want them overcrowded. I want to give them plenty of room. And all I'm doing is just broadcasting the seed over the top there. That's fine. And I'm going to do exactly the same with that one. I'm going to take that turtle broccoli out because I didn't think there'd be as many seeds in there. And I'll put that in another one. Just as well I've filled 3 up ready. Put a few more seed into there. And that's fine. I've split them. So I've split the 90 seeds, so that's 45 seed in each one, which I'm quite happy with. I don't need a packet. And all I need to do is to put them. I've got a little fine sieve somewhere, but if you just go gently with your hand, as I say, with the compost, there's plenty of sand in it, so it's really fine. And I just put a light sprinkling over the top, and that's your seeds ready. There's my broccoli in. That's one broccoli done. I better do this one before I forget. I'll do exactly the same. Just a light covering over the top there. As I say, there's plenty of fresh air in here, plenty of fresh air getting through, so don't worry about that. Yeah, they're not going to be overheating. Once again, get my hands wiped. Right, so I'll do exactly the same with purple broccoli. Put them to one side for the time being because I've got one there all handy already. That'll go in for the broccoli. I'll just stick the marker in there because I know I've got 2 of collie and I'll have 1 of broccoli. I'll just stand that tree up like that. That's it. Right. Okay. So that's what broccoli and what purple sprouting and broccoli. Well, and what cauliflower's done. So as I say, quite an easy job to do. Get them done. Once you start growing away, we'll give them another spraying of chamomile tea. A couple of weeks time, once it breaks surface, just give them a good spray with that, and we'll let them grow on for 2 or 3 weeks. Nice strong little plants. The roots will go right at the bottom of them pots, nice and deep, and then it'll be perfect for potting off. We'll do all that later on in the video. I'm going to start on my few autumn and spring flowering, which I like to do this time of the year. Of course, one of the main ones, I've got about 10 varieties in here. Of course, I've got the old favourite, I've got the wallflowers. Wallflower, I've got the pansy, winter flowering pansy. I've got the Bellis daisy, I grow Bellis daisy every year. And I've got the English wallflower, that's the deep red ones, absolutely fantastic. Bellis perennial, there's loads. Delphiniums, I've got delphiniums, esculgia, they can go in now. The Californian poppy, make a first class plant for next year. Sweet William, and of course Sweet William you plant now, get a nice strong plant. You can plant it in the autumn, September time, October, and you get a fantastic flower. They're biennial. They get a fantastic flower off them next year. I grow them every year, and there's lots of people always asking for them. As I say, there's umpteen different varieties, Brompton stock. A lot of people just put them straight in the ground. What I like to do with them is they're planted once again in trays, and once they're through, put them off into little cups or little pots, and then next year you've got a first class plant in the springtime. as long as they're kept nice and cool. This will be perfect for the winter. Now, once they're grown on and they're potted off and the place is cooling down, I can put them in the bottom polytunnel. I can put the benches out, shelving, and I can put them in the bottom polytunnel, and it'll be nice and cool over the winter. Because there's no polythene on the doors, they're just mesh. The wind blowing right through, keeping them nice and cool, and they'll grow on all of the winter, ready for planting out in February and March next year. So I think we'll start with the Brompton stock once again. I always like to have a look at the back of the packet and see. It should tell you how many seeds, and of course there we have it. We've got 150 seed. Now 150 seed, you might think it's a lot, but it's not really. I break them down into what I like to do, break them down into trays. Full size seed tray, half size seed trays, and the mediums, the little ones. All depends on how much seed is in the. We'll have a look at the wallflower. We'll see how many's in there. There's 500 in the wallflower, so that's perfect for a full size seed tray. Take the marker off, put the marker straight in your tray, and just a little tip. I've always done it, always a little bit of bamboo cane, same length as your seed tray. Just make sure it's nice and secure. Start from the centre, press down, make a line, and go to the middle. Between the two, the side and the middle, press down, and once again this side between the middle, and press down. Now your peat should be nicely moistened. If you pre-moisten all your trays before you plant, you shouldn't have no problem. That's soak, but I'll let it run off for about a good hour before I start sowing. And there we have it. We've got 3 rows, or 3 indentations in the compost there. Get your glasses on if you need your glasses. I like to just open the packet up, and there should be one inside there. That's it. Give it a bit of a whack. Make sure your hands are nice and dry. And what you can do, you've got a good eyesight, you can just, because these are great wallflower, they're nice orange seed, so you shouldn't have any problems. Just a little tap on the packet, and you can go along the row, nice and steady, like that. That's one row done. You've got 500 seed to go in there, so work your way along. That's 3 rows done. I can always go back. That little bit of wind's just catching us, just blowing a few seed away. But I'm just taking my time. And there we have it. 3 lovely 500 seed all planted up. Now they're sitting on the compost, they're sitting in the white compost, so they're not going to be moving anywhere. That's our wallflowers, and all we want now is a little sprinkling of the magic stuff on top. Nice sandy, loamy compost. And they will rocket through there in a couple of weeks' time, and then we'll be planting them off individually into cell trays. I like to use cell trays quite a lot, or individual pots. I've got trays, and you've seen what I like to use. Now that is well soaked, that. We'll pop that on there. That's another one done. That's that out the way. Now the only thing I didn't do with that, I didn't soak it with the chamomile tea. That's which I should have done. But once I'm come through, these are great, these trays, multi trays, and of course you get the small 9cm pots to fit into them. Absolutely fantastic. I use them for all my bedding. As I say, I should have soaked them a bit chamomile tea, but don't worry, the next pack of seed that goes in, I'll remember. So that's it. That's just a few tips on sowing. What we'll do, we'll take these strawberries, because a lot of these strawberries are finished now. We didn't have much of a crop this year, been a bit poor, but what we're going to plan on doing is when we take this greenhouse down, we're going to leave the bed, and we're going to use the bed for a strawberry bed. We'll take the roof off this, because it's leaning right over now, but dangerous really. It's only the staging tubes that's in the centre of the greenhouse that's holding it up. Take them away and it will just fold over like a deck of cards. But it's been up over 20 years now, this. Can't complain. We built it with pallet wood, believe it or not. what a dozen pit props that were sunk in, and then pallets along the side, pallet water on the roof, covered up with polythene. Hey ho, it's been here for 20 years. Put a couple of pairs of doors on, we built a shed at the end of there, onto it, and a little greenhouse on the end, and it stood the test of time. But like everything else, when its lifespan's up and it gets dangerous, time to take it down. So we'll probably do a video when we're taking it down and what we're going to do with the land. Up here, I'll leave the shelving on here. I'll just take the roof off here, leave the shelving on, because we've still got a bit of protection. This is all shelving. I know it'll be out into the weather, but it's always handy. And what we'll do further down, I've got a big set of trestles I can put up with the 13-foot staging boards on there, so it gives you that far bench over there is going to come down, so it creates a whole brand new pathway right way down the bottom of the garden. It's going to make it a lot easier for me and Roger transporting horse manure and bringing stuff back up. Yeah, so that's a plan anyway. In the autumn time, we've got 2 or 3 big jobs coming up. But we'll do a video on each one of them. You see, we're just starting to get ourselves back on our feet here. We've had some fine weather over the last couple of weeks, so we can't complain here. We've had a nice bit of rain, which is making everything jump up. So what we're doing, we're trying to keep on top of the weeding. Roger's been here this morning, he's digging away all the pathways now, because the pathways have been just left to rack and ruin for the last 2 years. So plenty of docking weeds and God knows what in it, but Roger's chopping all that down, doing a fantastic job. So we'll, as I say, we'll work our way through the next couple of weeks. We're all planted out outside, so it's all we're doing is going through the tomatoes. I'll probably do a video in there next week, because I'm going to start some peas off. I'll start sowing some peas in there. We've got the outdoor tomatoes, we've got outdoor girl, and we've got Ailsa Craig. As I say, we've just got this bit of net over the top there, so they're open to the weather, and they're growing absolutely marvellous. So we'll start a video off in there next week, and I'll start sowing some peas. I've got a few growing in the bottom greenhouse, up against the tomato plants, and they're just whiling away around the tomatoes, and they're growing up way up to the heavens. So I'm going to plant a couple of rows. I've got some pea alderman, some left over, so I'm going to hire a couple of them in the base of the tomato and let them grow away, and hopefully we'll get some first class peas, as well as strengthening that tomato plant up and feeding it, because as you say, peas are going to give off nitrogen. It's going to feed the tomato at the same time as well as support it. But we'll talk all about that in the next video. We've got plenty to be cracking on with. I've got plenty to be cracking on with this afternoon. I've got loads of seeds to get sown. These are my trays. I'll just show you before we knock off. That's the big trays that I sit multi-trays inside of them. I'll just shift these and show you what I've got here. Oh, that's it. That's what's that one? Oh, there's another one ready. Oh, these are just, you can buy these at Wilkinson's. They're great, fantastic. Just a long potting trays. And what I like to do with mine, I like to line with newspaper. And what I can do, line up with newspaper, give them a good soak and a good thick inch of newspaper, and then you can sit these on there like that. That's your tray sitting on the newspaper, and once again you can water the whole tray. You get 4 standard seed trays on one of them trays, or if you're using the smaller ones like this, as I say, when you come across a packet of seed with only 50 seed in, that's fine. That one's been pre-soaked. Once again, cut a little bit of cane the size of your tray, and you can do exactly the same. Press 3 indentations in, and then sow your seed in there. So what you'll do, you'll get 2 of them in there, or you can get 3 full-size trays, whatever you're planting. And then again, like I say, with me brassicas, they're in the one tray there. We can sit this on the end if we want. We can sit that on the end there, because I've got plenty of trays all the way along around here now. And then everyone's catered for. We've got the markers in. We just have to come along with the water in the trays, and that's all your trays watered at once, all your plants watered at the same time. It's the whole idea. It saves you going along with the watering can over the top and soaking and everything, making that compost a real death trap for some of the young seedlings that's trying to emerge. Water from the bottom, you don't have any problems. So I'm going to knock off, because as I say, I've got plenty of seeds to get cracking on with here. But I will keep on posting on my new Facebook page, which is on the plot with Jeff Foreman. You can catch us most nights on there. Give us a friend's request and we'll get you signed up, or you can wait for our videos. I know I'll try to get one out this weekend, but with the way the weather's been, it's been absolutely blowing the flipping holy up here. So it interferes with the stereo, with the audio too much. Maybe it's in the autumn time or near the Christmas time, I'll drop a few more hints and see if I can get myself a nice new camera for the up and coming season. And you never know. Okay, so for the time being, I'll catch you all soon. Don't forget, I look forward to getting all your comments online. And any problems, just give us a bell. If I don't know, there's plenty of like-minded people on the site that will know. So once again, from the plot, bye for now, and I'll see you all again next week. Okay.